We're going to call to order our regular select board meeting, having just finished an executive session related to Title I VSA 313, which was meeting with council, and that was in relation to possible pending litigation related to grievances. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? And we are taking no action as a result of the executive session. Any adjustments to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of March 14th.
Yeah, move to approve the minutes of March 14th, 2018.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of March 14th as presented. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any public comment on items not on the agenda? As the camera does not reflect, but could if there's nobody else here. So probably not. So select board items. Posting the town forest, and we have Emily Powell's listed, but Emily is not here, is she?
She is not here, she has teacher conferences.
She's at the same conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which will be over in about 15 minutes.
We can still
So
discuss.
Or do we want to table it until, why don't we table it until she comes?
We can do that too.
I think that would make
Okay.
sense, if that's okay with everybody. Traffic ordinance approval.
Okay. So this is the traffic ordinance that we have been working on. And page 2, section 1, speeding restrictions. So Westminster Road was in question.
So just to be clear, all of this is unchanged except for this specific section that we're about to talk about.
Correct.
Yes, okay. So you said page 2, section 1, yeah, so wait.
Which article?
Page 2, article 4, section 1, yes, okay.
So speeding restrictions.
Mhm.
So the previous ordinance, it was all lumped together, and Westminster Road, the speed limit was going to be changed from West Hill up to the knoll,
Correct.
where that horse sign is.
Yeah.
And we had Brian measure it out, so it's 1,800 feet. And it's in this new ordinance. The other question was,
So just again, to be clear, that would be changing it from, it's currently a speed limit of 40 miles an hour in that section,
Correct.
and changes to 25 just south of where West Hill enters Westminster Road. This would create a 30-mile-an-hour zone from where that 25 starts out to the knoll by the horse.
right.
Yeah,
Now that was going both northerly and southerly.
correct.
Yes. So that has been reworded to state that.
Yeah,
So at a rate of speed no greater than 30 miles per hour, Town Highway number 1, known as Westminster Road, from the junction of State Highway US 5 northerly and/or southerly to and from the delineated speed zone of the Putney Central School. So basically from Route 5 to the school zone,
yeah,
it would remain, 30.
at 30, yeah.
Yep. And then Town Highway number 1, Westminster Road, from the delineated speed zone at West Hill, because that school zone goes
Starts
200
right.
feet.
Yeah,
And in a northerly and or southerly direction, a distance of approximately 1,800 feet. And then it would go back to what it, yeah,
After the knoll, the horse barn.
yes, yep. And that is the only change in here. All the other roads in town stayed the same.
so our motion would presumably be to amend our existing traffic ordinance to include that statement, Town Highway 1, Westminster Road, from the delineated speed zone at West Hill in a northerly and or southerly direction at a distance of approximately 1,800 feet.
Correct.
So
All
moved.
right, so moved, yes.
Seconded.
And that was article.
That is Article 4, Section 1, which is labeled speeding restrictions. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve an amendment to the traffic ordinance to include the change in speed limit from 30 to 40 as presented. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't remember, there may be a posting period for this before we can actually change the signage.
60 days.
Okay, so
It
you'll
has to
make
be
sure
in 5
that.
public places.
Okay,
So I'll go on the website, post office, library, maybe co-op,
sure, yeah.
you know, to go with.
I don't know whether the general, there used to be a board at the general store, but I
There
don't
still
think,
is.
is there again? Because
Yeah,
for a
but
period of
it's-
time, there wasn't. but-
Well, it's really overcrowded all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know, I mean, the whole ordinance will probably be hung,
mhm.
and I don't think everybody's gonna read it, but.
There's a board at the school too.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should be at the school.
Yes,
under,
yeah,
So school, town hall, library,
yeah. But if no
Co-op
one
and
petitions the change.
against it, right, then
Then
we
it-
go ahead and put the signage up in
Yeah.
60 days.
Yes.
Right. All right, and that, just so you know, that originated from one particular resident who lives right there who came and asked us to visit that situation just because it's really a dense residential area and people go fast through there, you
We
know.
lived on Coop Hill for a while, so
And
I understand.
People move right along
Yeah.
through there.
Did you wanna
North of
sign
there.
this tonight?
Sure. That's the ordinance. That's the
Yes.
changed ordinance.
Yes.
Yep.
Make it official.
It's a little slowed down before we get to the school.
Yes.
All right, so our next issue is the treasurer's appointment and the hope to, so discussion, we'd like to extend the treasurer's appointment
Correct.
just very basically for practical purposes of having continuity.
I would
and-
recommend it as well.
Yeah. Also, we have listed discussion with the school district. Is that, we're not actually gonna have a discussion,
It's not
but
a
you
discussion,
have
but
had,
we
you
spoke
have
to.
had that discussion.
Yes. So Deb was in the meeting, Frank Rucker, Ike Bergeron, Alice Laughlin. We met, I think it was Tuesday last week. They would like permission to take over the treasury part for the school district. And what that entails is cutting their checks, signature stamping them, paying their bills, paying payroll, and reconciling their accounts. And they're comfortable with taking that over. I have talked to Dave Olson with People's Bank. He has stated that many towns do this.
Already do it, yeah.
He says, we can walk you through it, it's not a big deal. I went on Muninet and asked the question if anyone has appointed a treasurer and how do you handle the school district? I only got one response from Ripton, but they have consolidated, so all of their treasury functions for the school district, they don't do anymore.
They're done by the union.
Yes.
Right.
It's all done by the union. So in 2 years, it's a possibility that we won't even be handling
We
school.
wouldn't have that anyway.
Yes,
Right.
but we don't know that yet.
And,
We may know as soon as June though.
right. Although
Well,
with
now
the
the
recent,
secretary
with the
knows.
recent stepping down of Rebecca Holcomb, that's gonna probably change the equation, but maybe not, I don't know.
Scott Henry also feels that if the school wants to take on the responsibility, he is fine with that.
Would it go through the supervisory union or through the school?
Through the SU.
SU.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the SU expressed concern that they have not been getting information on time to
And-
even reconcile their accounts.
They've been urging us to take this step for many years.
Since
and,
2014.
And the way it works is the school could appoint their own treasurer or could elect their own.
And I don't
point,
know,
I think.
yeah, and I don't know if they have one.
they do
Frank
not.
Never,
No.
yeah.
But in the absence of them appointing one, statutorily, the town treasurer acts as the school treasurer. So by default, Scott Henry, having been appointed to our town treasurer, is also the treasurer for the school. But the SU has for a number of years been trying to make this happen just because it's streamlined. Essentially, what was happening here in the office was redundant to something the SU was already doing.
Right,
So this just streamlines that. So really, our only interaction with school money is that we collect the education tax money, and then we would be dispersing the checks, I think it's 3 times a year, right?
Yes.
To the SU in order to, well,
for property taxes, and I think there's one final payment.
could be, that
Yes.
sort of reconciles it.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't remember. But, so we really, the town itself and the treasurer would not be involved in the financial dealings of the school for all practical purposes, except to write them the checks for the distribution of the education tax.
And some
Right.
other, to the nutrition fund also, which I have to write.
Right,
Right.
which is a federal program, and we're the pass-through entity for the federal
Yeah.
program,
Right.
so we
Right.
have to be involved in that. But it's not, that's between us and the federal, that's not through the, I guess it is
Well, no,
organized
yeah.
by the SU,
You
but.
gotta reimburse, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really complicated.
Is there any reason you haven't done this in the past, if they've been asking?
There was resistance on the part of
Yes.
the previous treasurer.
Okay, and what was her reasoning for resistance, if you know?
I think very basically that it had always been done this way and should stay that way.
All right.
And felt, this is some of the same stuff we encountered with the new treasurer a year ago, was what statute reads and what practically works and towns actually practice tend to be very different. So if you read the statute very tightly, you could probably adhere to the methods that have been being used here, but there are very few towns that actually do that because it's just impractical. Again, it's just all redundant accounting for something that doesn't need to be redundant. So many, if not most towns, have done away with that aspect of it. So.
Yeah. So it's as simple as getting a stamp with Scott's name on it, having the school stamp the checks. They would handle everything. And right now, Deb, as the assistant treasurer, is spending time trying to get her head around the accounts and, the checkbooks, and so nothing is automated. So that would relieve Deb as well,
Yeah.
if the district was handling all the process.
Well, and much as we have done in this office over the last number of years, automation of all of that stuff, the SU has been doing for
Yeah.
decades as
Yeah.
well. Not that there aren't people's eyes looking at it in the process, but that it's all done electronically and checks are generated electronically, et cetera. So, as it was, there were literally handwritten ledgers of what was going on, and that just doesn't fit in with the system that the SU uses, so it was time consuming for them. So,
We can still monitor online
right,
to look
That was
at,
my next question.
because if there's something like odd, like all of a sudden they had all of this and then it dropped down, it's like, all right, what's going on? And then that's a phone call to the school district.
So will we have a system in place for regularly checking in on that, or?
Daily,
Okay,
Chip taught me, he says you need to go on daily,
okay.
look at things, make sure there's,
just make sure there isn't
Yeah.
anything glaring.
yeah,
But it's also, I mean, the school system, I'm assuming, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I would assume the SU is required to have independent auditors too. So, you know, this is all something that would be reconciled by the school regular, or by the union regularly also. So, not that we shouldn't be paying attention, but it really is just not our purview. I mean, it's just a sort of a different set of equations. And I don't believe when we have our independent audit, I don't think there's anything about the school finances involved in that. I don't think so.
No.
So it's really a separate entity that,
It is.
again, for statutory reasons, there's been overlap between the two, but it doesn't make logical sense. So, unless anybody is strongly opposed to that, I don't know whether, do we want a motion on that, or do we need a signature
I think you
On
should have a
something.
motion for the recommendation to
To
extend
approve the-
Scott's term
well, yes, for that, but what about
through.
the district? What about the transfer of
Well,
that?
I
Actually,
was-
technically, that's probably a treasurer's.
it is
the
a treasurer's
duty.
decision,
Right,
and Scott already agreed that he would be fine with them.
okay. So
He gave them permission.
So by extending the treasurer's appointment, we're essentially saying,
Yep,
this is your responsibility if you
and we
agree
can
with it.
work that out, however that happens,
Yeah,
to make sure it's a smooth transition.
and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that we are either the last or the second to last school to, I think maybe all the other schools
Yeah.
are in the union already do it.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot throughout the state that already do that.
exactly, no,
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
But I think within our supervisory union,
yeah.
we're the only one, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. All right.
All right, so do we have a term?
Karen and I talked about it, you know, initially we talked about November, but I think just for practical purposes, it probably makes sense because if Article 3 and 4 were to get challenged, then discussion would come up or there would be procedure, there would have to be public meeting before November elections, but then what would occur at the November election would be a vote to yay or nay, do it by Australian ballot. But statutorily, that can only be overturned, I believe, at an annual meeting. So it's not until the annual meeting that there would be any change from appointment versus elected. You know, we would then face the complication of the fact that you can't vote on something that alters an elected position at the same time as voting on people to fill that position. So we would have to hold a special meeting after that. But the earliest that it could be changed, how we're functionally filling those slots, would be town meeting. So I think
Yeah.
Just until,
just for practical purposes, it makes sense to extend it through town meeting of next year.
okay.
He thought he was getting out of this. Well,
All right, well, yeah, then I'll move to extend the appointment, the treasurer's appointment of Scott Henry until what is that, March, next town meeting, March.
Through the next town
Through the
meeting.
next town meeting, right,
I second that.
2019.
It's been moved and seconded to extend Scott Henry's appointment as treasurer through the town meeting day on 2019. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, financial reports.
Okay, so I gave you financial reports because we haven't seen them in a while. The close of the quarter will be the end of March, so it's about a week off, but that's just for review. If you have any questions, you can let me know.
And what we do, just procedurally, is typically, these are presented by the manager. If there's anything that the manager or the assistant or somebody feels is unusual, they will usually point that out, then we take them home. If you know, read through it and see
Yeah.
anything, we can talk about it.
And if you have any questions, Laura, you can come in and we can go over them.
I've been reading when you send them to me.
Good.
I've been reviewing everything.
There might be something that catches your eye that doesn't make any sense, or like, whoa, that's like,
I'll probably come in and go over this with you this week, just because it's so new to me.
now just keep in mind, there's been a lot of changes. So this budget, you're gonna, yeah, it will definitely reflect some of the overages.
And the other thing to remember, which I may just be stating the obvious, but as Karen just said, the end of March will be the end of the quarter, but that's actually in the end of the fourth quarter of our fiscal year. So we're looking at a financial statement that's reflecting 3/4 of the year having
Correct.
been gone through. So most of those numbers, many of them have been spent in full, 100%, but many of them are in that sort of 60 to 70 range. Those are more likely the ones that are sort of metered out over 12 months, so.
So you have the general fund, you have the highway fund, water, sewer, and I believe the library's in here as well. Revenue and expenditures, Laura, are listed on here. Yes, you have highway, sewer, water, and general.
And library is within general, isn't it? Or
Well, no, they have their set.
total
they have-
library, yeah.
Is that revenue though? Which
Oh,
page are
maybe
you
it is.
looking at?
That was on, I just see on the top of page 6 is total library. And that's
Okay, then it's, yes.
That's budgeted,
Yeah.
but it doesn't break it down more than that, so you may well have a separate
Yeah,
accounting of the library, but that's how it appears for us,
yeah.
is a total.
Yeah, there's like a whole page for the library,
Yeah, so that,
broken down by detail.
which is the way the other departments here are done, so it probably
Right.
ought to be in this record the same way, I would say.
I think the next meeting, I will do another financial.
Yeah,
That way you have the end of the quarter.
yeah. No, and, however it works best for you as financial director is fine with me.
Yeah,
But I would guess that having them all done in a similar fashion
right.
would make the most sense, so I would probably recommend that.
Yeah.
And, we obviously don't need to see every line item of the library budget
No.
in here, but
Yeah.
if we have a basic breakdown of the same way highway and or fire department are done, that would probably be helpful.
That kind of skews the end number that I was like, ooh, that's nice that it's only at 65% of the But we don't have the library's expenditures in it.
So that might shift it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a great number.
Yeah. All right. Town managers report.
Okay, I have several items and hopefully we work through them quickly. Water sewer billing will be done next week. So Joe went out and read the meters, so we'll be ready to bill.
And Karen and I talked about this the other day, but I was suggesting, and they were planning on informing people of when we're gonna have, as we all remember from town meeting day, a significant increase in sewer. Whatever the proper term is, sewer billing numbers for each individual customer, but that doesn't start until beginning of the new fiscal year, so that's not until
Right.
July 1st, so that'll be, and in this, you're sending out this time a notice of that?
Yes.
With it?
We kind of want to
Get
break
people
speeds
warmed
off.
up.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just send one reminder because they'll say, I never saw it. So we can put it in the bill as a, a little note. So,
And then we might want to send a postcard or something,
yeah,
again.
yep,
That's up to you, but no matter what we do, there are gonna be a number of people who are gonna be caught off guard by
Yeah.
it, so.
and there's like 104 customers on water sewer. Wyndham and Windsor Housing, they're operational. They have water meters in the buildings and they've been drawing water since January.
Huh.
So they will be getting a bill.
Okay,
But we have 3 or 4 other people that want to hook on.
yeah.
2 have not paid the connection fee yet.
Mm.
I haven't seen the design, so those will be coming forward
This
as well.
is Frost Road and up that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So people are connecting, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and my experience is that it happens a little bit in fits and starts, but it's always the trajectory of an increasing number, which of course would be expected.
Right.
But that's good because that decreases everybody's overall expenses. More users.
I
less
agree.
expensive. That's preferable,
Yes, yes.
as long as we have capacity, which we do.
Right. So the fire department met with Tom and the school board on Thursday to go over a plan for emergencies such as active shooter. So it was very informative. The Wyndham Sheriff Department was there. Ian, our deputy sheriff, and Mark Anderson, who was the captain. But we did a lot of brainstorming, and I thought it was a very productive meeting.
Good.
So Tom is very good at what he does and open to helping on that front.
And
Providing
and
services.
improving. I mean,
Yes.
Tom's always looking for ways to do his job
Yes.
better, so.
Yeah, so I think he's a key player. Select board appointments, we are working on those for the committees and the boards.
Mhm.
We hope to have the list finalized by April 11th. So it should be, we wanted it done today, but we're just not ready. And some people are like, well, why we get a phone call? It's just, we just thought it was automatic.
Right.
It's like,
You're
But
in
then
for
you have-
life.
and then you have
Exactly.
people say, well, my term was up, why am I on the board again?
Right, exactly.
So it's like,
It turns out you were eligible for parole, so we thought we'd call you.
it's kind of funny though. So we are gonna firm that up and by April 11th, we'll have it finalized. Animal Advisory Committee update. I did not have a chance to talk to Abby Jacobson, but I do want them to meet. I will meet with them if they ask me to. Want to get them on board with the dog ordinance, animal ordinance, and the state regulations. I contacted Westminster, talked to Russ Hodgkins. He has a draft ordinance that is implemented some of the state regulations. What he's doing is he's increasing his fines. And then there's a leash law throughout the whole town. It's not just in the village anymore. So those are the 2 changes he's made with their animal ordinance. But,
So we would probably look for a recommendation from the Animal Advisory Board as to whether,
Yes.
for example, with the leash law. I personally don't think that's probably necessary, but whether they want to expand it or put some verbiage in there that would change that some,
yeah,
that would be up to them. The other thing Karen and I talked about is whether, if we feel that we should be charging them with something specific, then we should figure out what that is and ask them to do it. And Karen, I think, the updating of the animal ordinance is one. The other one that seems necessary is to come up with some form of job description and or minimum qualifications for an animal control officer. And then, once we have that outlined, how do we proceed with that kind of thing?
I'm not able to locate one. I'm gonna keep looking.
What?
A description.
Of the animal control officer?
Yes.
You can't locate one from anybody? I mean, like, does VLCT probably have one?
I can go to them and I will search other towns in our area. Because I know some towns do have an animal control officer
Right,
or a constable, but I'll research that a little further.
yeah.
Jared Ralston is still interested in that position. I asked him if he would be willing to serve on the Animal Advisory Committee. He is not. But he is still interested in animal control.
And the original discussion with him was whether he was appointed to the Animal Advisory Board or not, that he would work with the Animal Advisory Board to find out what the qualifications and job description and training.
And training
Required-
is very
required
important.
training.
And I think we need to do a little research on that as well,
Yeah,
just to make sure we know what they're gonna need for training
right,
and that they're qualified.
yeah.
I think Brattleboro would, I mean, they have an animal control officer, so.
Yeah, I think it's still Kathy Barrows, right?
I'm not sure, I don't remember.
I'm
That
dating myself.
No, that's
No,
not
you
right.
think?
No,
Yeah,
I know.
But again, I will research a little further on that, because that is a policy that definitely needs to be revised and amended with current changes. And,
And as has historically been our problem and would still be, even like the suggestion of increasing the fines, I think
Right.
that's a reasonable idea, because I think that the fine numbers are dated.
yeah,
But, you know, as has always been the issue, we have very little means of enforcement. So, you know,
Right.
unless we specifically task when sheriffs with that.
now, Mark Anderson did talk to me one time, and he said if the select board would like him to come to a meeting and he can discuss options and, you know, talk to us about animal control officer and what it takes. And so I'm not sure if that's something you're interested in doing? Or
Well-
do you want me to talk to him
And or
get a-
maybe put the animal advisory folks in touch with them.
That would be a better idea, Josh.
You know, at least to get the ball
Yes.
rolling, and then if there are
Yes.
questions that come
Yeah.
unanswered from that.
Yeah,
And as I said before, I mean, Janet went through this with the sheriff's department research and was very thorough, and I think, you know, sort of based on the model that she used for that, you know, she called several different towns and discussed it with them and actually got policies from a few places, et cetera. So I think she's probably pretty well equipped
okay.
to take that on, and, again, at least to get the ball rolling, so.
Well, I'm willing to get the meeting set up, go to the first one with them and get them started.
See where it goes from
Okay?
there. Yep.
With the collection issue, can we tack on that if we have to go through collections, they pay for any cost incurred on our behalf?
I don't know, we perhaps could, I'm sure it's statute, so I don't know
Right.
exactly what, I don't know how we can do that. You know, I think we also, you know, as we have been through with delinquent taxes, you know, we want to be able to use monetary penalties to, you know, remind people, but we don't want them to be excessive at all, and I
No, I don't
don't, you know, if you,
Right.
yeah, no, I'm not suggesting you would, but, you know, if we end up with, you know, for example, a Wyndham County Sheriff spending 3 hours trying to collect, you know, that adds up pretty quickly. So if
Right.
you've got a $25 fine and you end up with, you know, $125 in accumulated costs for trying to collect it, I don't know. I mean, that's a tricky one, and that, again, with enforcement, it's just, you know, a certain number of people are just gonna pay the fine, and there's not
Right.
gonna be enforcement involved. Those who aren't gonna pay the fine, they're not likely to pay the fine no matter what you do, kind of thing. So, that's a little bit of a tricky balance, how you manage
Yeah.
that. But, you know, if nothing else, having meaningful sized fines, and I know the state just upped the amount that you can fine pretty significantly, as I recall. I don't know
And
how
see,
long ago it was.
Westminster raised their fines as well. And it's based on
That's probably because it
state
was statute,
regulation.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was, they
Russ didn't
changed
tell
that
me
not too long ago. Yeah.
What he
Exactly
raised
they
them,
are.
But
Yeah,
we can get a copy of that
Yeah.
ordinance.
yeah.
So I could probably get it in draft format right now. So, 'cause we don't, yeah, we don't need their approval, but it'd be nice to have something to work with.
We
template.
don't need state approval.
No, we don't, well, we don't need to wait for.
Oh, animal
Westminster.
advisory or,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But we do obviously have to adhere to statute, so.
Yes, we do, yeah.
And I'll point out, for those who aren't here and looking at the room, we have a brand new collection of green books over there, which is the 2017 revised.
Do you like that? It's
Yeah,
a perfect
version.
library.
It's great,
Yeah.
and that's your resource for Vermont
Right.
statute. You can come and spend as much time as you like
Yeah,
pouring over those.
yeah.
They're very exciting.
Scintillating.
Trying to do the town plan.
It's how you interpret them though.
Right, that's.
Exactly, all up for interpretation.
So one
But
other
it
item.
is nice to have those.
Yes.
Because they are useful.
That was a good
and-
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
town clerk's office update. So Jonathan is settling in nicely.
Excellent.
He's cleaning things up and getting through a lot of papers and finding things, which is really good. Um, His assistant, Kim Monroe,
he has decided that?
she started today,
Oh, good.
so,
Okay.
yeah, it was official last night at around 4 o'clock.
Good.
So she came in and she also did the same thing. She's gone through, looked around, trying to,
Get her
get
bearings.
comfortable. Yeah, it's gonna take a little while.
And she's a 20-hour week.
Yes.
Yes.
And she will be Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 2.
Oh, good, okay.
Oh, that's nice, so it opens up the
Friday,
Friday
10
hours.
Yeah.
10 to 3 on Friday?
10 to 3 on Friday.
See, it's
So that's her-
changed already.
That's her long, well, that makes
Tuesday
it, brings
through-
it up to the 20 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Good, so essentially, other than, historically, we have sometimes had Saturday hours, but,
yeah,
that'll be up to them to decide
Right.
whether they want to do that. But if nothing else, we have Wednesday nights and another off-hour time, or that's it? Wednesday
no,
evening.
Wednesday
so
is
are the
9 to
off-hour
7,
time.
and people are coming in after 4 o'clock.
I'm sure,
Yeah, so it's working out really
Yeah.
well. So the only, we're short one lister. Is Jonathan.
Has he resigned?
He hasn't resigned yet, but they're actively
Functional,
searching
okay.
for another lister.
Yeah,
So once that happens, we'll have a full house.
good.
Yeah.
And those, do you know, Karen, off the bat, what the sort of suggested hours for lister, for anybody interested in being a lister? That's what, 10, sort of 10 hours a week, something like that?
Yeah, it's, they usually come in on Monday. It's like 10 to 1.
And do their
Yeah,
thing.
and
and
they're
then-
working
and then
together.
they
It's great.
alternate.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Karen's still learning,
Yeah.
Karen Shapiro, and she's picking it up though.
Okay.
So I'm impressed with her. She's funny too. Everybody's laughing now, so
That's
it's
good.
great.
And it smells good in here.
But it would be nice to see, some listers will split days,
Right. So
so
that they
people
have some
can come
coverage.
here
Yeah,
more often.
yeah.
So we can suggest that and see if they're willing to do that. But right now, they're learning from each other. So, Jordan's a good teacher.
All right.
So, dog licenses, what do they do?
Dog licenses
April
are,
1st.
April 1st.
Yeah. You can get one
Okay.
tonight if you have all your
Okay.
paperwork.
and I did notice that there's advertising around, there is a rabies clinic in Brattleboro at the West
Yeah.
Brattleboro Fire Department this Saturday. I don't know the hours, I think it's 10 to 1 maybe.
Something like that. I saw the sign as well.
It's too late for the first though. The first is on Sunday.
No, well,
Monday, they have till
Yeah,
Monday
you-
because
There's an
If it falls
extension
on a
because it falls
Sunday.
on a Sunday, that's
Yes.
excellent to know.
and I don't know whether others have experienced this, but missing the rabies clinic is an expensive mistake. Surprising what it costs to actually go to the vet's office and get
I just took
those
one of
shots
my
out of
dogs
the
there.
clinic.
How
It's-
often are they?
The rabies clinic?
Is that it?
Just once a year.
No, I mean, the dogs.
Oh, every 3 years, every
Yeah,
3
every
years.
3 years.
Yeah. But, you know, it's $10 to get a rabies shot at the rabies clinic, and
Yeah.
it's 75 plus the office visit at most of the vets around, so it's a,
And you can get your dog's
Painful mistake.
microchip now.
yes,
At
for
the
$10
clinic, too.
also.
Yeah. So,
All right,
all right.
One very conscientious citizen brought in a 10-week-old puppy today to try to get him licensed, and unfortunately,
it hasn't completed
gonna
the
have to
rabies
wait
shot,
way
so,
around it
yeah.
till they get the rabies shot and all that
Yeah.
good stuff, and it was adorable, it was such a treat.
That's good. So you're all set?
I am. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
No other questions?
No.
Okay.
Nothing.
All right.
Warrants?
All right.
We have several. So we have, Deb, March 8th to March 14th. It's accounts payable, $29,923.74.
Can I move to approve and sign the warrants
Mhm.
as presented, right?
Oh, I should have let you do that first, Steve.
No, that's okay.
All
Sign
right,
it first.
next time.
Yeah.
Second it, sorry.
Okay, been moved and
Drifting
seconded to approve and sign the warrants as presented upon review. I've already seen that one.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes.
say, yeah.
That's the one you guys appointed me to be able to sign based on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's right.
Payroll, March 23rd, in the amount of $9,473.29. And that one has the library.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yep.
it was thrown me for a second. The Marcy's, Marcy?
From the saver.
She's a library.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
She is, I thought she
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I know.
firefighter, and
No, she's working there again.
At the
Part-time.
library.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
had
she
it
was
for a
out,
while.
no, she
Yeah.
had some health issues that she
Okay,
was working
okay.
through, but
yeah, I didn't recognize the name either when I first saw her,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I never knew her last name. basically.
yeah.
yeah.
Payroll warrant, March 30th, in the amount of $7,174.71. And that one,
All right.
yeah, and fire department,
Fire.
yep, on call. Accounts payable, Deb, March 23rd to March 30th, $85,534.82. There is a sheet right here that lists all the checks,
Mhm.
so if you have any questions.
Is that $42,000 check in there?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
That'll be on the next warrant,
thank you.
April 11th. Um, We did review,
That's a new format to have all the checks listed
yeah,
individually, yeah. that makes
because of
sense.
the last issue that I had, not being able to
Okay.
confirm the figures.
No, that definitely makes sense, we haven't
Yeah.
done that before.
Deb and I are gonna be putting in some processes here for the financials,
Yeah,
because getting warrants at 5 o'clock doesn't work for me.
yeah,
Because I can't guarantee that it's
Right.
accurate.
Right.
And I need to be able to check it.
Yeah,
And if I have questions, I can do that. It was a long day today.
That's Fairfield?
Fairfield, that is the body for the pickup,
Oh,
for
that,
the truck.
okay, gotcha,
So,
yep.
so that whole purchase is complete at this time. So the truck has been paid for and that is the body.
and is it in service yet or not? No, not yet.
No, we haven't. Well, we haven't seen it yet, but it is, it's in service, it's insured, it has new plates on it, so, yeah,
Just in time.
I know. I haven't even seen a picture of it yet.
I should bring it up and give you a ride.
Yeah.
Jack of all blades. Is that a sharpening service, perhaps? That's a pretty sizable check.
Let me see, it could be a blade. Is it a mower blade?
Oh,
It
could
would
be.
be in here.
Oh, could be for the,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
side mount. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be right.
I like the name.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's a great name.
Creative, yeah, no doubt. I was thinking, wait. Elevator inspection service,
That would be the man lift at the fire
fire
department.
department, that's what I was, yeah. And those are all just the invoices that
These are the invoices.
related to this guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I was looking for that one invoice for you, Josh, but
Here.
I thought it'd be in order, but
We don't have an alphabet order.
we're working on that as well.
I know,
Right, Deb?
Oh, you got it.
Appears to be pretty much in,
Kind of mostly.
yeah. Snap-on tools.
What do we pay the Vermont Office of Child Support for?
It's mandated.
Yeah.
We have an employee who needs, and so we have mandated.
Oh, okay.
To
I understand.
issue monies directly to them.
Yep, okay. That makes sense.
Works for me.
Maybe so we go from G to N.
I have the same problem, Josh.
It's under B.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, anyway.
Because Deb and I do go through the list and we make sure all the invoices are in there that are on that edit list.
Yeah. Don't see it. I'm sure it's in there. All right, any other business?
I have nothing.
And we've already had our executive session, so we can rule that out. Next meeting date, April 11th, that's correct?
5:30?
Yes.
Is that Emily was doing this
Oh,
for us?
yeah. Emily Pals
Oh, yeah. Maybe she,
didn't make it.
yeah, they were having supper and everything there too, so.
Right.
um,
No, keep going.
Okay, yeah. Brad.
So did you want to table that until next?
Well, you could just let us, basically, this, they want to post the school forest, not for trespassing, but for hunting.
No hunting, no trapping, and no firearms.
And my personal feeling is that that's fine. I think our agreement was essentially that they were responsible for managing it, so I don't think we are financially responsible for posting it. And I'm not sure whether they are asking to take financial responsibility for that or not, but I certainly had no problem with it being posted in the way that they're suggesting, but I don't think we should be charging taxpayers for that, would be my feeling.
No, that's not what we agreed upon. either.
Right.
I don't think so,
No,
no,
we
it's
originally
not
set that deal up.
yeah.
The purchase and sale contract states that the school district would maintain the land consistent with current management practices. I spoke to Emily today. She spoke with Bob Fisher, their attorney. Okay, so there was a few items. One, we have the purchase and sales agreement. They have 2 years to get us a deed. The property hasn't been transferred yet to the town.
Right.
Bob has done the deed as of today. So we should see that within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
They have to get some deferral of permit, which states there's no development on the property.
Yeah.
So they're waiting on that permit.
Yep.
Once they have that in hand, they will be able to transfer the property. They are willing to put the signs up. If they come to the town clerk, they can fill out a form for $5. It goes to the Fish and Wildlife, State of Vermont, and a copy stays here. It's a $5 fee. They can put their signs up every 400 feet. And the thing, if they do it this way, that means if something happens in there, they can call Fish and Wildlife, and they will take care of it. But without posting that property, if anything happens,
They have no.
they have no authority.
Yeah.
So Kelly Price was out of the office today. I'm gonna call him tomorrow. He likes to,
He's the local game warden.
yes, walk the forest to see what's out there for resources. And so I'm gonna talk to him. Emily thought it'd be a good idea. They might even, have some kids and do like a field trip. And
Yeah.
yeah. But, so that's where we're at with that. So it can be posted. It's gonna have to be, see, now I don't know if we wait 3 or 4 weeks. She didn't wanna wait because May 1st is turkey season.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure if they post now, if we have to repost.
Again, probably statutory, I mean, they should just follow, there are very clear guides. Kelly could
Right.
inform them about that.
And that was
I
the
would
other
say.
thing, I wanna ask him for the process.
Yeah, because it's very clearly laid out, and it's completely invalid if it's not done
Correct.
properly.
And
So
that's what
it needs to be done
Greg
properly.
said it in Springfield
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's only every 400 feet. I thought it was more, I thought it's less than that, but it may be different for
Certain
different types
signs,
of properties.
it's different.
Yeah.
Don't they have to be on posts?
No.
No,
Okay.
no, they can go into it, nailed into the tree.
They can go into a tree?
Nailed, but, yeah.
All right. So that's that. So, yeah, I mean, if
So that's
Emily,
happening. Yep.
any objections?
No,
Yeah, I
no,
don't-
but
I
I,
certainly don't
other
see-
than agreeing that shouldn't be the taxpayer's expense.
Yeah. So as long as they're not expecting us to pay for it, then
Right.
we're in agreement. So, okay, good.
Good.
Now let's, I can,
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so moved.
And seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
thank you guys.